Baseball is officially back. The Yankees and Mets opened the season yesterday. We caught up with both clubs in gearing up for opening day, and that includes new protocols for the reduced number of fans at Yankee Stadium.
We're very excited to have our fans back in the stadium, and we appreciate their patience and understanding throughout this entire process, and recognize that Thursday will be a completely new experience for them at Yankee Stadium. So yes, concession stands will be open, but there is a distancing requirement, and we'll have markers and signage all over to help people understand where and how to do that. But it should be a seamless, recognizable experience as they've had in the past.
Meantime, Yankee slugger Aaron Judge is excited for the addition of veteran Jay Bruce. Bruce makes the team following an injury to 2020 home run leader Luke Voit and is named the starting first baseman for the club.
Luke's a big part of this team, big part of this offense. He brings a lot to the table. You know, a guy that's going to hit in the middle of this lineup, you know, hits for power, uses the whole field. Solid guy over there at first base. And, you know, he's a really, you know, vocal guy in the clubhouse that gets us motivated, you know, so we're going to be missing out on that for at least a month. But, you know, I'm excited to have Jay Bruce on this team. You know, this is why he came to this team, was to, you know, help any way he can and help us win a championship. So, you know, we're going to be missing Luke, but I know Jay Bruce is going to come in and, you know, he's going to do some special things for us.
Across town, the Mets reportedly offered new star Francisco Lindor a 10-year, $300+ million extension, but the shortstop apparently wants more money and 12 years. Dominic Smith has been swinging a hot bat coming into the regular season. He says spring training got him ready for games that actually will matter.
Overall, I feel good. I'm making hard contact. I've been making hard contact all spring. I'm not too worried about the results, but as long as I'm hitting the ball hard, driving in runs, that's the biggest key. We got to score runs to win games, so I'm really focused on, you know, those at-bats where I'm getting with guys in scoring position, making sure I'm hitting the ball hard and just having consistent ABs, and that's what I'm trying to do every day.
Meanwhile, James McCann is ready to become a star behind the plate for the Amazons. The free agent edition has been talking baseball with Hall of Fame catcher Mike Piazza to get ready for 21.
We talked everything. We talked catching, we talked hitting. He has a great perspective on the game, obviously a Hall of Famer. But his perspective, the stories that he has of dealing with pitchers, dealing with situations. I took a day where I just kind of picked his brain, and I loved just hearing him talk and taking it all in.
The Mets are also bringing back the black jerseys from the days of Mike Piazza. Ownership confirms it's a good look. We'll see if the Mets can play like they did in the early 2000s with them on in 2021. The Brooklyn Nets continue to add star power, but it doesn't guarantee every victory will be an easy one. They looked sloppy earlier in the week against lowly Minnesota. Here's head coach Steve Nash with more on that.
Just got to continue to find ways to adapt and improve. And right now we're not playing great, but we found a way to win. That's the positive. The negative is we're not pleased with the performance, and that gives us motivation to improve.
Triple-double machine and leading MVP candidate James Harden talks about adding veteran star LaMarcus Aldridge to the roster. The rich just keep on getting richer.
Obviously, we know what he's done over his career, but I think it's all about gelling together now. And the quicker we can get LA and KD and everybody healthy and Landry back, then we can catch a rhythm. I mean, on paper it looks good, but we got to actually get out there and get going.
Kudos to the Nets this week, too, for hosting their annual Women's Empowerment Game. As part of the celebration, rapper Lil' Kim performed with the Brooklyn Nets dance team at halftime of the game. Kim also designed the tops the group wore during the routine. Throughout the evening, the Nets highlighted the accomplishments and contributions of female pioneers and history makers, along with honoring the women of BSE Global and Barclays Center by running the names of every female employee on the arena's scoreboard and exterior LEDs. Now that's pretty cool. We shift gears to the NFL gridiron, where BYU quarterback Zach Wilson had some pro day. The kid has some arm and may actually entice the New York Jets to pull the trigger with the second pick in the upcoming NFL draft. From college football to some March Madness, college basketball rolls on. Hoops fans were in for a treat on Monday night with a women's NCAA tournament game between UConn and Baylor that felt more like a championship matchup than an Elite Eight showdown. It went down to the wire, but number one UConn did what they always seem to do. The Huskies punch a ticket to the Final Four, their 13th straight, with a 69-67 win. On Baylor's last possession, people were calling for a foul on UConn, but nothing was called. NBA star LeBron James weighed in on the debate on social media saying, open quote, "Come on, man, that was a foul," close quote. On the men's side, underdog Syracuse made it to the Sweet 16 but ran into Houston. Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim and his son Buddy spent last week in the spotlight, but Houston roared when it mattered most. The Cougars locked down the hot shooting Boeheim and the Orange offense as Syracuse lost 62-46 to Houston last Saturday night in Indianapolis. The Orange finished the season with an 18-10 record. My champ pick is also out. Bracket busted. Michigan gets clipped by underdog UCLA 51-49. Great game. Here in the Bronx, Fordham hires longtime Villanova assistant Kyle Neptune to take over a men's basketball program that has had only 2 winning seasons since joining the Atlantic 10 Conference in 1995. The 36-year-old Neptune grew up in Brooklyn before attending Lehigh, where he played for 4 years and was a team captain as a senior. The new Fordham coach has been an assistant at Villanova under Jay Wright for the last 8 seasons. During that time, the Wildcats have won 2 national championships and 5 Big East titles. Hopefully, Neptune can bring some of his winning touch to Rose Hill. Those are the headlines. On to the C-list for 3 questions the Yanks need to answer before finally securing that elusive 28th World Series title. It's so great to have baseball back this spring, and it's even better to see some fans being able to enjoy the big ballpark in the Bronx. As we've said all along, progress is key. Little steps back towards normalcy during the COVID-19 pandemic. As for the team on the field, there are 3 questions I believe the Pinstripers need to answer before reaching the pinnacle of the sport again. Question number 1, can this year's edition finally stay healthy enough to keep all of the important components together to not only reach the Fall Classic, but to win it all? The American League East is actually not that strong, and the AL as a whole may not be as good as the National League. I think the LA Dodgers and San Diego Padres, along with the Bronx Bombers, are the 3 best teams in baseball coming into the season, at least on paper. The Yanks will need to take advantage of the weaker division and run away with the East. Start there, stay healthy, and then be ready for the postseason. Question number 2. Seems like the same story year after year. How's the pitching depth for the Yankees? Well, the Yankees have plenty of question marks there again, but with the same token, they have some questions that could easily bear fruit, like Corey Kluber returning to Cy Young form, and Domingo Germán looking like the pitcher from 2 years ago that we saw in the Bronx. But then there's that chance that both of those starters don't regain that form. Same with youngsters like Davy Garcia. High expectations, small sample size. The Pinstripers are banking on greatness from Garrett Cole and plenty of success from a bullpen that didn't look as good in 2020 as it did the previous 2 seasons. Pitching, and more pitching tends to be what proves most fruitful in October. And then, of course, question number 3, can the Yankees help Gary Sanchez and Gleyber Torres continue on their initial career arc of becoming all-time pinstripe legends? Torres had a down 2020 campaign. I won't hold it against him. But there is some concern nonetheless. He's an important cog in the machine and might actually be the face of the team when everything is said and done. Right now, the best player on the Yanks, all things considered, is DJ LeMahieu, while Aaron Judge, the homegrown product and injury-prone star, is the face of the organization and maybe the face of baseball too. Torres can be great, like legendary great. They'll need plenty of his bat and more from him at shortstop to win a title in 2021. Same with Sanchez behind the plate. I believe this is the last opportunity the Yankees will give him. His offense has gone the other way, and his play behind the plate, aside from throwing runners out, has also declined. At one point, Sanchez seemed like the best hitter of the bunch, but that was 2017. His stock has fallen so much, I'm not even sure the Yanks could get much for him in a trade. But if he resembles Gary of 2017 and Torres plays like Glaber of 2019, the Bombers will have answered a crucial question in their quest to break their championship drought. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Tune in Monday for our chat with baseball great Ron Swoboda.